Spooky Tuesday. I want to tell you my secret now. Okay. I see dead people.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, babies, all right, it might seem like, wow, you just heard from us last week. But for us, we haven't talked at all. We've not even looked at each other in a month. That's not true. But we haven't recorded in a whole month. So this is a beautiful reunion for us to mark our third season. And we're doing it with a movie that made me sob like a little fucking bitch.
Me
this
too.
is the Sixth Sense from 1999 from my boy M. Night Shyamalan. And holy shit, I don't think what did I say his name wrong?
You just said it funny.
Oh, sorry, I just said it excitedly. I practiced beforehand. I had not seen this movie since the very first time that I saw this movie. And the very first time that I saw this movie, I watched it on my little tiny computer screen. I bought this on iTunes because I was very excited. And I remembered having a good time. I did not expect to have an emotional roller coaster of a time. And it shook me to my core. It's a beautiful film. What was your experience with The Sixth Sense?
I also watched it a super long time ago and had not watched it since. And so when I saw Toni Collette's name in the opening credits, I sure was shocked. And then when I remembered how enormous, and when I say remembered, I mean I didn't remember even a little bit. I just watched the movie. When I was reminded how large of a role her character has, shocked again. But she slays it. But I had never seen this movie without knowing the very big twist at the end. You know what I mean? So I have never had like an experience of watching this movie and being surprised. I don't know about you guys.
No. I knew the twist before like watching it. But it's still it's still such a great movie.
Yeah.
Totally. I don't know if I think I probably did know it, the twist, but I watched it way late. Certainly didn't see this in 1999. This was not my first M. Night movie. That was Signs. But yeah, I don't know. I remember still being like, whoa, when I watched it the first time, because I purchased it on iTunes. So I obviously was so moved. I think it was a rental that turned into a purchase. That's the kind of vibe.
To own it.
I was like, wow, I'm going to watch this all the time. And then it's been like 15 years and I've never.
Did you watch it on iTunes when you caught up for this podcast episode?
I did not, because
Monica.
I just got a new Amazon Fire Stick because my other one died.
Oh, yes, I noticed there was a new login.
Yes, well, the old one, I came back from vacation and she wouldn't turn on. She said, "You've been gone for 2 weeks." I thought I'd never be used again, so I've expired. It was very sad. I had to sign into all the apps. It was traumatizing signing into all the apps. It took like an hour. And then I got to Apple TV, and I don't have an Apple TV account with my Apple ID. So I was like, I'm not going to do it. And Sydney told me it's on Hulu. So
it is. It's
I bet you do.
Right now on Hulu.
Yeah, it is on Hulu for free, which is great. I think you can log into your regular. It doesn't matter.
You can. But then I was like, well, but Adam does have a Apple TV account.
Oh, sure.
And that's how we watch Severance, and that show fucking slaps if you haven't watched it. It's spooky. Oh, you should watch it. It's really good.
I know Tumblr loved it.
I didn't even fucking cash in Tumblerwood. I didn't even cash in on my $9 purchase back in the day. So that money is just gone to waste. Dear God. It might have been cheaper back then, actually, before inflation.
Well, you can still watch it whenever, maybe.
I don't know if I will because it was so sad. I was hysterically crying. I was like sobbing. I was holding on to BB. I was like, why, God? Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got sad themes, so I don't know why I wouldn't think that it would be sad. But okay, speaking of that sad themes, if you've never seen The Sixth Sense, okay, how do you exist in society? Honestly, like I don't like you wouldn't understand that moment in Final Destination 5 where they say I see dead people. You probably would figure it out by context clues from being alive, but you wouldn't understand the breadth and depth and like all the nuance. So like, stop your life, go watch it. But if you need a refresher course, this is the IMDb little description. A frightened, withdrawn Philadelphia boy who communicates with spirits seeks the help of a disheartened child psychologist. That's pretty good.
Gorgeous.
I like that. That's very nice. Very good. Oh, wow. Also,
does he
I'm
seek the help of a child psychologist? I think that's a little the child psychologist comes to him pretty aggressively.
Yeah, the child psychologist is thrust upon him, there's no choice in that. But I've never really paid attention to the poster for The Sixth Sense, and it's also very dramatic.
Oh my God, let me pull it up.
It has numbers, and it says 1, and on the 1 it says sight, and then it says 2, and on the 2 it says sound, and then 3 it says smell, and then 4 it's taste, and 5 it's touch, and then the 6th is a child.
That's so funny though.
Haley Joel Osment.
The Sixth Sense is Haley Joel Osment. There's an IMDb trivia piece that's like, at one point you can see the number 6 on a windowsill, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, literally, who cares? Why is that relevant? Why is that trivia? Just now realized.
The Sixth Sense. Okay, it's important.
Okay, the number 6. What about it? It's for the sense.
I have to say, The Sixth Sense is incredibly difficult for me to say. It's very hard. It is very hard. My maybe lisp that I don't think I actually have, but one time someone said, "Do you have a lisp?" And I asked my mom about it, and she was like, "You've just always talked like that, honey." And it shook me to my core. So it comes out whatever that is. I don't know. I never found out. I have no fucking clue. What does it mean? You tell me. You listen to my voice all the time.
What a evasive way to answer the question.
I know, dear God. But yeah, it's coming out when I say this title, so I'm going to try to avoid it at all time. Also, the tagline for the movie is "Not every gift is a blessing." Ooh. Wow.
Do you know what's interesting about the poster though is like, I think you're right that it is Haley Joel Osment, but what if it wasn't? And it was, can I say spoilers for the end? Yeah. What if it's Bruce Willis walking into the light?
Ooh.
And he just has skinny little legs.
He's just got tiny little baby legs. Yeah, that's what it is.
His legs unclothed at any point in the movie? No, I'm pretty sure he's wearing pants the whole time.
No, it's totally Bruce Willis. He's known for his tiny little baby legs. That's what he's known for. It's a character choice. My fucking God.
He's a psychologist. Maybe he doesn't work out that often. We don't see him exercise. Just saying.
Do you see him in Die Hard? Those legs were rock solid. I don't know if he's ever wearing shorts in Die Hard, actually.
Okay, but can we talk about Bruce Willis's hair in this movie? Because it was wild.
Got it. It still looks good, even though it's like going away. He like did the thing that dudes do when it's going away, where they're like, we're gonna get creative. And usually it's really bad. It's bad, and you should just go with it. Yeah. But it looks hot.
He's very sexy in this movie.
He's so sexy. He's so thoughtful. He's good with children. He's got a suit. He's got a wine cellar with many wines.
But he does have the one thing that absolutely triggers everything in me with men, and that is he works too much.
I know all about that.
Here's the thing. Do I love men that work too much? Yes, unfortunately. But is it my number one trigger with men?
Probably
Yes,
for the same reason that you love
also.
it so much.
I know.
We delve
Anyway.
deeper.
Not to psychoanalyze anybody on the podcast.
But like he's so sexy in this, and
He's
I
very sexy.
always know that he's sexy all the time. He's a man with a good shaped head. Okay, that's the thing. He's got this haircut, and you can see more of his head than you would normally see with someone who has hair. But you're like, you know what? It's going, but when it goes, it's gonna be good. Cause look at that's a shapely head. Doesn't look like it's a pinhead. I think I have like a ridge on the top of my head. I've done a lot of feeling to figure it out because I was like, ooh, sexy buzz cut. I'm never gonna do it. Don't worry. I'm never gonna do it. I can never pull it off. But I thought about it. Okay. Who hasn't looked at Natalie Portman and then think about it? You know, you got to think about it.
Me, because I have a dent in the front of my head from when my parents weren't paying attention and I was jumping on the bed and I fell off and I went through the hardwood floor and had to get staples in the front of my head, which explains a lot about me, you know?
Yeah.
More context clues.
Okay, well, it's not an option for you, and you look so cute with bangs. So you know, going into this movie though, I was very interested in doing the research on my boy M. Night because I love him. I love him and his beautiful mind and his career that has had such high highs. This is it. This is the high and such low lows. Last Airbender is the low. But also
The Happening, I would argue, also a low.
Yes,
but kind of fun.
Okay, well,
in its own way.
Am I going to interrupt myself? No, I'm not going to interrupt myself.
We'll talk about The Happening when we do that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. There's connections though here in this movie.
Because someone hasn't seen it.
Me.
No, I'm not. It's not a spoiler connection. Don't worry. But the thing is with this movie, it shows the type of craftsman that M. Night Shyamalan is because he fooled the world by having a movie so good. This movie being so good, he made everyone believe that this was his debut film. I was sure. I would have sworn my life on it. But no, he had 2 movies in the early 90s that bombed hardcore.
Also, just for the record, I think you're saying Shyamalan. Is that what you're saying? And it's Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. That's what I was saying. I thought that was what I was saying.
City will find out later when she edits the episode.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I love him, and I can't say his name apparently. But he has done magic. He bewitched the minds, bodies, and souls of everyone in Hollywood and made them forget that he had a movie that came out in 1998 that grossed like $200,000. Like that's it. That's how bad it was. Like really bad. Super, super bad. But this one, you know, he had a dream. He came to Hollywood. He stayed in the 4 seasons in a hotel room that was way too expensive for him. And he was like, I believe in this script and I'm going to tell everybody I need $1 million budget and that's it. And if I'm not the director, then it's not happening. And bitches went nuts for it. There was a bidding war. People went crazy because this is such a fucking rock solid story. It's such a rock solid story. It's like really well done. Like you gotta hand it to M. Night here.
Okay, but the cast for his 1998 movie slaps.
Yeah,
it's got Rosie O'Donnell. It's got Julia Stiles. It's got Cameron Manheim. It's got Dennis Leary. Not that I care that much, but I know he's a person. You know.
Yeah.
We'll have to check it out.
In this description,
anyway.
I was like, in this article I was reading, it was like a Hollywood Reporter article. It's really good. It's linked in the references. It was like, yeah, this is his, like everyone had been thinking like he's going to be the new Spielberg and blah, 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 and all of this. And like, but his first 2 movies didn't do so well. And all he had under his belt is that he had written the script for Stuart Little and it hadn't even come out yet. But he wrote the script for Stuart Little. I always forget that. He has range, baby, range. But yeah, I mean, this movie, it set him up for what he's done in every other one of his movies. Well, not so much Signs too. Where he's like the twist guy. That's his fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah.
His whole deal is that he's like, oh shit, let me pull the rug out from under you. Because it started with this and he stuck the landing and then he's gotten farther away from the mark every other fucking time, but we still love him for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, apparently I don't remember the twist in Lady in the Water, but apparently that one really sucked. I remember that movie being upsetting, but being really attracted to what's her name? The
Bryce
redhead.
Dallas Howard.
Thank you.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I looked at lots of screenshots when I was in my Bryce Dallas Howard era.
A great era.
But okay, let's get into the beginning of this movie because it is simultaneously beautiful and then immediately horrifying.
Yeah. Did you know that that's Donnie Wahlberg?
That's what I was gonna say.
Clue.
Dude,
Fucked up.
dude, that's the happening connection. Donnie Wahlberg in this
Oh.
movie, and then Marky Mark in The Happening. So he's got the Wahlberg connection.
He got
Let's
the whole
talk
fucking
about
funky
the-
bunch. Let's go.
In the same article that I was just talking about from the Hollywood Reporter, there is an extensive section on Donnie Wahlberg and his method acting, like whole shit that he did to prepare for this role. And like how much is he in the movie, you guys? How much? Is it a
minutes.
minute? It's 2
Mhm.
minutes tops. He
Yeah.
starved himself for weeks to lose 43 pounds for this role. He was
I probably would
going
not have
to
done that
do it.
if I were him.
I agree. Yeah, he was like, I got really method for this, and I slept in the park overnight. And I was like, okay, wow. So he slept in the park overnight. He lost 43 pounds. He would starve
Actors
himself
love
for
to make
days.
choices.
They do be loving choices. Also, he still had abs. He was teeny tiny with abs and the dirtiest tidy whities you have ever seen in your entire life.
The blonde hair really threw me off, though. I'll be honest. I think that's why, even once at the end, I didn't recognize him at all. I saw his name in the credits, moved on, didn't recognize him. Read IMDb trivia, and then I was like, "That was Donnie Wahlberg." I went back, looked at it again, and I was like, "I know, but I still can't see it, even though I'm looking right at him."
No, I can't see it either. I can't. It's so funny to me that they both brothers started out with like musical careers. I didn't realize that at all. Like I never thought about how Donnie Wahlberg is Mark Wahlberg's brother. Like I never thought about it. I've never thought about it. I don't think about New Kids on
And
the
you don't
Block. I'm
have to.
sorry.
Yeah.
I don't
Sure.
think about it. But it's just like range again. Once again,
Uh-huh.
range. It's shocking. But
It's
the
like
other thing about this was
Gen
like,
X's Harry Styles.
yeah.
No, don't say that.
Think about it.
Dude.
No, the
Okay.
Hanson brothers.
The-
I guess that's more our
No,
generation.
That's
maybe,
our
almost.
generation.
That's like
our
right on
generation.
the edge.
Ours would be
Oh.
technically Justin Timberlake, which is unfortunate.
Don't say that to me.
Because I hate Justin Timberlake.
I don't know what
And
you
I
guys
am
are
his
talking
to
number
about.
one hater.
podcast.
My Harry Styles are the Jonas Brothers, so I don't know
Yeah,
what.
yeah. That's true.
That's my Harry Styles. Also, Harry Styles is my Harry Styles right now. I'm having a Harry Styles. I saw Don't Worry Darling last night, and I thought it was good. Anyway, we'll do that later. But the thing, like Bruce Willis was like real tight with Donnie during this preparation and was like super excited about Donnie's like method acting. And they got together and they were like, Donnie's like, I want to do the scene nude. And Bruce is like, yeah, you should do the scene nude, bro. You should be fucking nude, bro. This is a paraphrase. Just so you know.
No, that's a direct
No, this
quote.
is exactly what they said.
This is the energy. And they went to M. Night and they're like, M. Night, we got to do it nude, bro. And he was like, yeah,
Dicks out.
for sure, 100%. Then they got to the time, they got there and they're like, you know what? We're going for a more like PG-13 vibe because this stars a kid. And so you can't have your dick out. And he was like going through costuming and trying on these clothes. And he was like, come on, man. Can't I just like compromise and wear tighty whities? And they were like, yeah, okay, perfect.
That
There was
was
no mention on
the
making
right
them
choice,
soiled.
though.
There was no mention in this whole article about how soiled they were.
They
So
were
I bet
so
he fought for
dirty.
that too.
They were very dirty.
But okay, it's a powerful minute like that he's in the movie.
Yeah.
No,
I do
it's
think
one
it would
of
have
the
been
best
more
scenes.
powerful if his dick was out. I think it would have been more powerful if Bruce Willis, who was about to get down with his wife, also had his dick out.
Yeah. Dicks out.
I didn't mean that Bruce Willis would be naked too, but okay.
I think they should both be naked.
Everybody's nude in the whole scene. They had just gotten completely nude to bang, and then he's there and he's nude, and he's like, "Oh, like, can I?" And then he's like, "Wait, no, sorry, I'm here to kill you." I got confused because we were all nude. Would have been a confusing vibe. But
Yeah.
actually, the like PG-13ness of it all made it was actually important because they thought this was gonna only hit with like an older demographic. Because it's like so serious and it's a slow burn and it's heady and
that,
whatever.
Like, grief and
yeah, and it's not like jump scary as much. But
Talk for yourself. I jumped like 4 times.
Okay, yeah, but not as much. It's not
Yes.
like it's and then they like when they actually tested it, it's like did well across the board. Like everybody and their mother loved this shit. And so they're like, thank God his dick's not out. Otherwise the little kids wouldn't be able to see this movie.
So talking about how like so many people loved this movie, there's like recently the new It is the highest grossing horror movie ever.
that's fascinating actually, because I was watching it on the plane and they talk about New Kids on the Block on it.
But
it's in the 90s, Gen X, like you were saying. Anyway, sorry, continue.
It's in the 80s. I guess
Late
the old
80s.
Yeah, I think the new one,
the second
well,
one.
I have no idea.
But
I don't recall when the New Kids were on the block.
In the 80s. But technically, like, so there's hot debate on if this is a horror movie or not. And if it is, this is actually by far the highest grossing horror movie to ever be made.
Oh.
But there's a really like hot debate on, is this movie even a horror movie?
I think it is.
Interesting.
Because it goes
it's multiple, it's genre like bending, you know,
defying.
Like certain parts of it is horror movies. Some of it is like a buddy movie between Haley Joel Osment and Bruce Willis. And then it's like a romance.
They do solve a
movie
crime
a little at the end, you know,
family
like
drama.
It like goes into waves.
No, it's across the board and it's definitely a horror movie, but I don't want to take any shine away from like Parasite being nommed for an Oscar because people are like, oh, something that's vaguely in the horror genre being nommed for Best Picture, holy shit. And then it won. But this also
didn't Get Out get a nominee as well? Oscar or was there just Buzz? I think it got nommed for Best Original Screenplay, Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Director.
Oh fuck yeah!
But I don't think it won.
No, it didn't win. And this didn't win Best Picture. I don't think Bruce didn't even get nom for Best Actor.
But Haley Joel Osment got nominated, I think, for Best Supporting Actor, which is like so sweet.
Yeah, Get Out did win for Best Screenplay, for the record. But yeah, I mean, this is Toni Collette's only Oscar nom, which is insane because we all know that she's queen.
That's literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, and it makes me furiously angry. She is such a like highbrow scream queen, like A24. This is A24 before A24. Crazy to say that about an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Fucking god damn it.
This is 90s elevated horror, okay?
From now,
but this is one that I actually like. So
but yeah, I mean, the setup of this movie, like we're talking about how horrifying Donnie Wahlberg's scene is, but also like they do such a good job of like setting up the romance between oh god, do I know the characters' names? I don't.
Anna Crow and Malcolm Crow.
Anna and Malcolm. Sweet Babies. Also, Anna Crow is so fucking beautiful and gorgeous and amazing, played by Olivia Williams.
They're so cute together too. They're like sexy, silly, you know what I mean? Which is always a vibe that I love personally.
Yes, I
Same.
love that so much. And like, she's got such a gorgeous 90s outfit, turn of a century outfit. She's got that gorgeous look. And it's just so sad because I literally forgot this entire movie except for obviously the end and the I see dead people part.
Yeah.
But I forgot.
And I
that,
remembered Misha Barton was
know,
in it and what
get
her
shot.
thing is,
I
but
forgot
yeah.
it gets shot. It's so sad. Why can't
Yeah.
they just have one nice night, one is a ward, and then he's immediately slapped in the face by his one mistake in a beautiful career? Yeah, and he died so fast. I mean, I know we don't know that he died, but he died really fast. We find that out later. That's just terrible. I guess that's a really bad place to get shot, in the lower
Tummy.
In that
abdomen
quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know my organs that well. But I'd imagine there's some important stuff there. Liver, maybe. Kidney.
Definitely your
Your kidney back
kidneys.
there somewhere. There's one around there for sure. But yeah,
There
it's like
do be organs down there though.
many.
I've heard that about the body. Yeah.
But watching this movie again and then watching this movie as an adult-esque person, it was fun. I won't say it. I won't say it. An adult adjacent human person.
Sure. As she wears
An
her
alleged
1993
adult.
necklace.
An alleged adult. It was like really fun watching it with that like critical eye, so I could see like how M. Night duped us. This whole
Yes.
fucking movie.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It's really well done. And I like went back and I investigated some stuff and then I finished reading IMDb trivia and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't have to look for myself, but I sure did. Because
Investigative reporting.
yeah, I think one of the things that he does that is really tricky is like this stuff with the basement and going into the basement. Because the first time we see him try the door after that opening scene, it's locked and then he looks in his pockets and then it just cuts to him on the stairs. Like you never see him open the door. You just see him already in the basement or trying to open the door and it doesn't work. But that first cut where it just like skips over that part of how he gets inside onto the stairs does so much heavy lifting to make you as the audience think that you've like seen him open the door and go through it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember really the key, but that doesn't exist.
Yeah. They do a really, really good job of like cutting into moments so that you don't see like him open very few doors, frankly. When he like breaks the glass later, you don't see him break the glass. You just see the broken glass at his wife's store and then him walking away. Like you don't see how he got into Cole's house. When he's like sitting with Cole's mom, you just see that he's already in there waiting. All of these like transition moments where in theory you would have seen him interacting or not interacting with other people are mostly not there. And it makes sense because I think it does a really good job of like tricking you as the audience into filling things in with your brain. It never directly lies to you, which I really appreciate. It never lies to you. It just withholds information and you fill it in yourself. And then you realize, obviously, at the end, I forgot how much it spells it out for you, but that's just because I've always known what the deal is, so I didn't need it explained. You know what I mean? But they really take you back and go like, see, she didn't acknowledge him when he reached for the check. Like nobody spoke to him when he was like sitting in the room. Like the reason Cole waits so long to respond and like just is like nodding or stepping forward or stepping back for so long in that conversation is because his mom is just in the other room and he doesn't want to like say anything and be overheard talking to nobody. Like it's really, really well done.
It's
so well done.
So well done. And I'm also just like so blown away by the moments between Anna and Malcolm, just because like that's like some really interesting acting to have to do. In that same article that I keep talking about, but it slapped. like she talked about her like method with that, and she like in her mind she was like, I was doing it like he was there in the room, but like how like she felt that his spirit was there in the room, that kind of thing. So she wasn't like pretending she was alone. She was like
Mhm.
thinking he was there, but like in that haunting kind of way, and like a ghost,
Talking to
Ozzy.
him in her own way,
Yeah,
but not talking to him directly. Which makes sense
exactly.
because I mean, like, obviously, this movie implies that ghosts very much exist in this universe and that they are tangible in ways. They can break glass, they can scratch little kids, especially kids who can see them. He like we see him writing at parts, so he can like pick up a pen to whatever degree, maybe, unless his notes are also ghostly. But that's something I'd like to discuss at another point. Um, we know that they're like the mom Toni Collette, she like sees the orbs in the photos when she's like looking at the photos, like we see the temperature change. We know that there's like these direct effects. I mean, especially at the end when you finally see her like puffing cold air. But actually, it's so interesting about the opening scene, that I was
Yes.
only thinking about later on, is that like when they get their and now I'm thinking a second thing. They get like the sweater and the sweatshirt because it's cold, which is both maybe because what's his name? Vincent?
Yes.
Victor?
Vincent.
Vincent broke in. So there's an open broken window. So maybe it is colder inside. But also, one of the ways they trick you with Bruce Willis is he's always when you see him throughout the whole rest of the movie, he's just wearing like different variations of like that suit and that sweatshirt. But so like vest, no jacket, like just the shirt underneath, blah, 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 whatever. But by throwing that sweatshirt in there, they give you like a different variation where it looks like he's wearing totally different clothes. And I think planting that there to be one of his like final night clothing for his ghost outfit options really allows them to mix it up so you're not like, why is he always wearing this one suit?
This is why you always need to think about what you're wearing when you step out the door, because it
Yeah,
could
your
be
ghost
your ghost
outfit.
Well, but
for
you could die at home.
eternity.
Yeah, which is why
Yeah,
you should always look cute
I
or
wear
be
a ball
naked.
gown
Outfits.
every day, at least for part of the day.
Same.
Okay, Monica, I have a question.
Yes,
Are you wearing red on purpose today?
of course. Yes, it is to represent death in the film.
I absolutely love the use of red throughout this movie.
Mhm.
And like you don't, when you're first watching it, you don't really realize it, but this whole movie is very like muted and
Totally.
like dark, and there's just like abnormally large amounts of red, so it's like really jarring. And one of my favorite uses of the red in this movie is when we were talking about like Toni Collette's character, when she's like looking at the photos and she sees the orbs and her nails are painted red, and you like see her
Yes.
like touching these ghosts in the pictures with her like red nails, and it's so
Ooh.
cool. It's
Yeah,
like such
That's
a
really
great, like,
awesome. I also love her sexy red hairdo.
Yes.
she's so unbelievably sexy fine in this film.
She's so hot in this. Oh my god. I think that's why I never put it together too, because she's a redhead in this. And I was like,
She looks very
you
different.
can only have one hair color in your whole life, of
That's
course.
true. I've always
So,
had pink hair and I always will.
It's so true. She was born like that.
Also,
Uh-huh.
with Toni Collette, one thing that my absolute favorite scene with her is like very near the very beginning, and they're in their kitchen, and Cole is sitting down, and she had like closed some cabinets and like walked away, and she comes back and all of the cabinet doors and like the drawers are like open, and
So
she
good.
just goes like, sweetie, were you looking for something? And he's like, where are the Pop Tarts? And she's like, they're right there. He goes, thanks. So this movie's like funny.
It is cute. It's
Like this
cute.
movie
It is.
like
That's a good
very
cover-up.
funny.
Poor
But
thing
yeah, I
that he
love
has to
the
come
red
up
nails.
with these cover-ups. Oh,
Little
God.
baby, this poor sweet little thing.
He's got a lot on his shoulders. Oh, I love
But yeah,
him
the
so
red
much.
was very intentional, not just in the moments where they did have it, but like in moments where if like a door was painted red or something and they didn't want to have red in that scene because there wasn't like a little ghosty, deathly whatever going on, like they didn't just like add the red where they wanted it. They made sure it didn't appear anywhere else also, which I just think is a cool detail.
Oh, that's really awesome. One moment that really stuck out to me was the red balloon that went up that spiraled
Mm-hmm.
staircase. It was very it.
Yes.
And I thought it was an it reference, but then I was like, oh wait, it's the red thing. But it led straight to
It could
that
be both.
dumbwaiter. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Spiral
it could be
staircases
both.
are very menacing if
They're
you think
haunted.
about it. Like,
You
they
ever
just have
walked on
bad
one of
vibes.
those?
Yeah,
That shit is
bad vibes.
very scary. I
But
did it
it's
very
also
a
very
much.
fun and romantic in a way.
It's true. It's
Which
true,
could
but
also
it's
be
also
bad vibes.
dizzying.
Sure.
It
Lots
is
going on.
dizzying. um, really quick aside, I wanted to talk quickly about what's his fucking name, Tommy
Tomasito or
Tam-
something like that?
Tommy Thomason?
Tamissimo.
No.
Tommy Tamissimo. Tamissimo. Tammisimo. How do you say that? There's too many M's. I can't read it. I literally can't see it
My
because
brain
there's
is
so many M's.
They say, let me look at it for myself.
Tamissimo.
Makes
Tamissimo.
sense.
Whatever. Either way, that fucking kid, Trevor Morgan, is the kid from Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
What?
That blew my mind. And I did not recognize that right off the bat. He looked super familiar to me, though.
Okay. Do you want to know where I know him from?
What?
I'm scared, but yes.
So
That amazing cough syrup commercial?
no. 1 year before this movie, he was in Barney's Great Adventure, which was this like live action
A star.
it was like Barney's first movie theater movie.
Oh,
Mm.
Barney.
And here's
Look at
like,
big
honestly,
moves, baby.
that movie slaps. We should do it for Fifth Tuesday.
Oh my god, I don't know if I can handle that. We might even not have to do it on a Fifth Tuesday because like watching a
horror
Barney
movie.
movie might be
It's
horrifying.
a monster movie, technically.
That's so true. That is so true. Wow, he's got a lot of experience with dinosaurs when you think about it. This actor. Wow. That Barney?
Oh,
Jurassic
I
Park?
was like,
Come
what
on.
else? Just
Barney and
immediately
Jurassic
forgot.
Park.
Yeah. You're so right.
Also, in 1999, he was in the Disney Channel movie Genius.
Never seen it.
I don't know that one.
I've seen this one before. Oh, Emmy Rossum is also in that movie.
Wow.
Emmy Rossum?
Star-studded
Yes.
cast. Star-studded cast. It's amazing.
Damn.
That kid though is a little sociopath. Or no, he's just an incredible actor. That's what it is. He like when he like puts his arm around our baby boy and is like, "Come on, buddy, let's go." And he's just doing it so he can like steal his lunch or something. I don't even know. Like,
I didn't get that part. Was he doing it to steal his lunch? Or I almost got the sense that like Cole was paying him to seem like he had friends to his mom, but I'm not sure that Cole would do that. So that doesn't make, I must be wrong, right?
I think that like their parents set up that they walk to school together so they don't walk to school alone or something. And like they're just
Mm.
pretending to be friends so he doesn't get in trouble for bullying Cole all the time. I think
That makes sense to me. I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
right.
Cole sure is taking public transportation pretty far by himself if you know that he's by himself. On the
Listen.
bus, going to Misha Barton's.
Oh,
You're
baby
jumping
Misha
around.
Barton.
That's so much later.
I'm just saying.
I know. I thought about that too. I was like, there's no one batting an eye at the 7-year-old.
But they did it in Child's Play, so maybe this was just like this was the era of the latchkey kid.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Before we get too deep, I want to just briefly talk about the teacher moment.
Stuttering Stanley. Stuttering
That shit was
Stanley.
fucked up. That does
That
this kid
shit-
just know
yeah.
everything? Does he just know everything about you once he's met you? Because that
Well-
wasn't a dead person thing. Is this a plot hole?
Okay, here's the thing. Later on, when he's doing his King Arthur in the play and we see the burned lady in the theater, the teacher tells him something like, when I was a student here, there was a fire in the theater. And then I think he says, when I was a student here, but he tells him about the fire. So maybe the burned lady was like his teacher or something when he was there, and the burned lady could tell him about that.
Maybe. She did die in the fire and half her face was off, which was cool. Makeup. I liked it. Very subtle. Yeah, but it's just that part just made me so sad for him because he's just like, no, they killed people here, and the teacher's like, no, this was a courthouse, and he's like, no.
Did the courts not
They
execute the citizens, my
killed,
friend? Yeah.
people here, and apparently a child. They killed
like,
a child. They hung
lawyers
a child.
Bad and murderers. Okay.
Dear God, why did they hang a child? Why would that be a thing in the courthouse?
She was probably
That
a
part,
bitch.
I was like,
Maybe
is
she
this
had bad vibes.
terrible.
Have you even
terrible.
considered that, Monica?
Your
Also-
vibes suck. Hang them up.
The way that like adults treat this child, and again, if I was his mother, I would be down at that schoolhouse, like beating the shit out of that teacher. Like, if you are yelling at my weird ass child, I'd be like, you're going to catch these hands. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And also, all the other moms at the party with their shitty kids would beat the shit out of those moms. Nobody's going to want to be my child's friend because I'm just going to bully them.
I'm just fighting everybody.
You're going to fight all the parents.
Establish dominance, okay? It's a pecking order.
You could do it. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Dude, Toni Collette is a badass mom, though. She's going through so much. She
and she calls and she gives them a piece of her mind.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, she's working 2
Darren.
jobs. She's looking incredible all the time. Her bum-ass husband
She's
left
sad about her
them.
mom.
Her mom just died. Her kid
I think her mom died
is
a long time ago when she was a little kid, when she was a child, right? Because she didn't see her.
A recent death.
What do you mean? How do you know?
I read it somewhere. I swear. I said recent death of her mother. I hope it was from a place that is real, but I did read that today. I know that I did.
I guess I assumed it was when she was little because in the car scene at the end, I was like linking, but now that I'm thinking about it, like maybe she just never mentioned that she saw her dance. Not that it was like one of the last things that she saw or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't like a long time ago because Cole had a relationship with the grandma, excuse me. Because he says like, I hang out with grandma still. Jealous?
Yeah, actually, that would be cool.
Yeah, but poor Lynn/Toni Collette, she like is dealing with all of this shit. Her kid is seemingly lying to her all the time when like shit goes missing and then like won't tell her anything that's going on. And then he gets attacked by a dumb waiter, and she gets accused by M. Night himself of child abuse. Horrible. It's not fair. I love, though, that M. Night puts himself in every single one of his movies. I think it's hilarious. And he also always gives himself a speaking role. And sometimes it's an incredibly important role in the film, such as in Signs. In Signs, he's like a really important part. He's like a marginally important part in Old as well, a film I have unfortunately seen. Not super important, but like plot moving, you know?
Okay.
So like the boy loves to act, okay? And he does a fine job every time. I'm never upset.
Well, what's interesting is that his role in this movie was supposed to be larger originally, apparently. But then he ended up cutting a lot of it out in editing because he didn't like it.
Well, that's good that he
Fascinating.
can be self-critical. He's not just like keep in my entire part because it's me.
That's my cameo.
Let's cut out the part when he says I see dead people to keep in a little bit more of my M. Night Doctor. Thanks. I like we're not losing a second of my time here.
This is really important to me, and I'm in charge. So
What if there was like a whole bunch more Vincent stuff, and that's why Donnie was so dedicated to this role, but he cut it all just to put in his M. Night cameo.
I don't believe that. I think
No.
Donnie just is really intense. Maybe.
Yeah. He's a method actor, okay?
Sure.
That's
He's
just
an
part of who he
actor.
is.
An actor.
actor. He was like, I'm gonna take this so seriously to distance myself from New Kids on the Block. Also, I looked it up and it's like 1988 through like 94 that they were
Okay.
active.
New Kids on the Block.
Great.
Had a bunch of hits.
Chinese food makes me sick.
Yeah.
And I think it's fly when a girl stops by for the summer.
For the summer.
That
But
song.
only if she wears Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm so sorry.
I take
But
her to
honestly,
have one
how
wish.
relevant is that now?
They're
Abercrombie
fashionable.
Fitch is like good clothes now too. Somebody
their
at a wedding
jeans
I
slap.
was wearing a gorgeous dress from there. Shout out to her if she listens to this. She's not gonna, but in my heart she knows.
I great. We love to see a brand save itself from the brink of ruin. That's amazing. And we also love a song that has one relevant lyric and then literal random gibberish and then one relevant lyric, and that is the form of that
Chicken, the
structure
Chinese,
of that
the
song.
Chinese chicken, something, ba 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 ba. That's
I
that song,
literally forgot
right?
about that.
Oops.
No, but sure.
It's not this.
That's a
the
different
same
song?
Yes, that's a
Yeah.
whole different song.
That's a whole different
Oh,
song.
well, it's the same era. Anyway.
It was beautiful. It was fine. Okay. Where do we want to go now? I don't remember where we're
I
at.
want to talk about, we're at 48 minutes. We've been jumping around a lot. So, I mean, I think we can talk about like the I See Dead People reveal. I want to talk about the various ghosts at some point because I went around and I made a note of who all the ghosts are.
Let's do the I See Dead People part and then let's do the ghosts from there.
Okay. And then I have some discussion questions at some point.
Okay. Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the most important part of this movie is, well, the second most important part of this movie is the I See Dead People quote, which, my God, did that make an impact on pop culture?
Seriously,
What
to
an
this fucking
impact.
day.
Yeah, which is so, again, so interesting to me as someone who never saw this movie without knowing exactly what happens in it. I don't know how it was marketed. I don't know that I've ever watched the trailer actually, but I would be so fascinated to see someone who went in totally blind. Like, what were they picking up on? Like, I don't think you have seen a ghost that is obviously a ghost before that part, but I'm not totally sure. Let me check my notes actually, maybe.
I wish that like my parents had it so good because I do remember them going to see this on date night and coming back and talking about how like incredible this movie was. And I wish I could have been like, you know, in my 30s, a fully formed adult, seeing this movie, like going in blind and not knowing. Like that would have been so good.
That would have slapped. Yeah. Okay. I checked my notes because I went through and I wanted to make a note of all the ghosts that we see or that are implied. And all of the ghosts before the I See Dead People reveal is just Bruce Willis, obviously. There's the implied Pop-Tart ghost, whoever that may be. In the Pop-Tart scene, there's the dumbwaiter ghost, who again we don't see at all. We just hear the voice.
Yeah.
But that's like as ghostly as it gets, other than Toni Collette like noticing the orbs and stuff. Like if you're familiar with ghost lore, obviously you probably were picking up on things. Possibly it was very blatant in the marketing, and I would not be
Whoa.
shocked if I See Dead People was in the marketing. You know what I mean? So you know it's a ghost movie.
And what's wild is we don't even know this kid sees ghost until like an hour into the movie.
So
There's a lot of just
crazy.
like vibes, like sad
Right?
vibes, like sad ambiance, muted
This kid's a
colors, pops the
freak.
red.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we don't know where the Stuttering Stanley stuff comes from at all.
well,
We
here
just like
I have a little info on like the
okay.
marketing of it. This is from that article I was talking about. Osment said that this is a quote from the article. The enormous cultural impact of the I See Dead People line took everyone by surprise. And this is a quote from him. Even when we were shooting that scene, nobody was pointing to that line or singling it out for attention or for special attention, he recalls. I don't even think it really gathered momentum until the film had been out for a while and the advertising started pivoting to including it on the posters and commercials and the like. So it wasn't marketed with that quote, but then once it came out, everyone was like, oh shit, I see dead people. And so they started including it.
That's so interesting.
That. Yeah. Good. Don't give away that moment. That moment is the crux of the film.
Sure.
Right.
An iconic line. I mean, he's just so sweet and so cute, and he is incredible in this. He's so incredible in this.
Such a
He's
little cutie, serious boy in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is funny because apparently Michael Cera auditioned for that role. But
what a different movie.
The scene that they did for the audition, or at least the scene that Michael Cera did for the audition, was like the magic penny trick scene. And IMDb trivia said that Michael Cera said he hadn't read the full script yet, so he didn't realize it was like a somber, sad movie. So he just played it like a happy little story trick. And obviously that didn't work out. Haley Joel Osment apparently also came off like a little cheery in his scenes, and that made M. Night Shyamalan be a little wary about casting him. But IMDb trivia says that M. Night Shyamalan said that he still portrayed this like neediness and this like vulnerability in that moment that really spoke to him. And also when he talked to Haley Joel Osment, he was like, yeah, I read it 3 times last night before I auditioned. And he was like, you read your part 3 times? And he's like, no, I read the whole script 3 times. So little baby Haley Joel Osment was probably putting in even more work than Donnie Wahlberg, actually.
Well, apparently Haley Joel Osment's like dad was a total like stage dad. He told I think Bruce Willis to like yell at him to make him cry, and it was like what he should do to like get him to express these feelings. And I was just like, hate that.
Oh God, I don't like that at all.
Hate that.
Oh, well, he's such a great actor, and I was really excited. What did I see him in recently? That I was so excited to see him in because he hasn't been in stuff in a while. Oh, I can't remember what it was. He had a great cameo in something recently, and it was very fun. I will look it up, and then I will say it many minutes later from now. But Chelsea, you had some ghost talk you wanted to bring up, right?
Yes. Yeah. I just loved the ghosts. And like I said, I went back through when I was like checking on all of the basement door stuff. Because I developed some discussion questions that I want to float to the group. But I wanted to check in on the basement door stuff. And while I was doing that, I also just started to keep a running list of the ghosts. So the ghosts that we see in total or implied are the Bruce Willis ghost, Pop-Tart ghost, the dumbwaiter ghost, the abused suicidal wife ghost. We see the hanging ghost next at the school. There is the implied grandma visit when Toni Collette is first talking to Cole about the bumblebee pin, but we don't see anything about that, which is interesting because I think it would have been, I don't know, I think it could have added something to see that. I think it would have taken away from like how sad and alone Cole seemed if we saw him just like catching up with Granny, you know what I mean? But I'm glad it was there. And then there's this 70s boy who played with his dad's gun, which is such a fun, creepy moment.
Oh, That was
where
so
he's
creepy.
like, do you want to see where I know where my dad keeps his gun or whatever? And then as he walks away, you see like
back.
the open back of his head.
Head blown
Yeah,
out, yeah.
so good, so creepy. Obviously we have Misha Barton, who's a little star. And I just watched all of the OC for the first time, so I'm psyched on Misha Barton. But that scene is like very fucked up. And let's actually talk about that next. But then there's the burned woman in the theater, and then there's the bicyclist at the end.
Why'd I have to be a cyclist? That shit made me so upset. I was like, oh
Sure,
no.
yeah.
I was like too close to home. Also, before I forget the things that he's been in recently, Haley Joel Osment, The Boys, he was in 2 episodes of that in 2019, and he was in What We Do in the Shadows in 2020 for 1 episode. And I was like, hey guy.
For a second, I thought you were saying he was in The Boy.
The Boy, Haley Joel Osment
Perhaps
as
The Boy 2,
the boy.
the sequel. Yeah, that would he
Boy
would have
2,
been great in that role.
Brahms, The Boy 2. Brahms, The Boy 2. I want to watch that. I want Sydney. Let's watch that together.
Let's do it.
Chelsea obviously wouldn't want to.
Oh no, we're absolutely
would
making
maybe
Chelsea
want to.
watch it.
Look, it seems like The Boy 2 is the movie that I thought The Boy was going to be. So I'm curious.
I don't, no spoilers. I have no idea what The Boy 2 is going to be about. It's already out. It's been out for years. But anyway,
Yeah,
for
and
me,
Katie Holmes
it's
is in
fresh.
it.
I know.
Anyway.
The other thing that I realized right now, and I just have to give this a shout out because Haley Joel Osment is an incredible actor, and he was also in AI, Artificial Intelligence, which is my
We
horror
have
movie.
to do. Yes, we have to do it.
That
at
movie,
some point.
I'll break down into tears.
Destroyed me.
It literally wrecked my shit. It gave me existential crises. I was a different little girl. I saw that. I saw that in 2001. I'll tell you, and it ruined my childhood.
I don't think I've
Anyway,
seen that movie.
Oh my God, Sydney,
God,
you're gonna lose your shit.
It's AI and My Girl. Those are the 2 movies
I
that
have
ruined my childhood.
Also
That
never
was
seen
it.
My Girl, so
Oh my God.
double feature.
Ugh.
Maybe
no.
protect your peace. Yeah.
Remember that time when I got really, really drunk in 2020 after we all video chatted? I drank an entire bottle of champagne and I was like, I'm gonna watch My Girl right now. And I just hysterically cried. The pandemic was a very dark time. Quarantine was a very dark time for us all. Oh my God, he is also the voice of like a lot of characters in Kingdom Hearts. Anyway, we can move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Misha Barton now. This scene is both so good because it's like one of the most memorable scares in the movie. When you have like the tent being pulled apart and the little clips
Which
popping
is red.
on. Yes, and then you look over and she's just like sitting there with the vomit pouring out of her mouth. Disgusting. But that scene really
Disgusting.
scared people. That scene really upset people, which yeah, fair enough. And it's also like the turning point for the character because after when did there's the point where Bruce Willis is like watching his ex or his wife through the window and she's flirting with that guy, or not flirting, but they're forging a connection, and then he breaks the glass and then he goes and tries to dump Haley Joel Osment because he's like, I have to focus on my family. Which I thought was super interesting. Because, you know, obviously he's sticking around because he's got unfinished business. And part of his unfinished business is that like he wasn't able to help Vincent Victor, and so he's helping Cole instead, but also helping Vincent Victor made him feel like his work had put his family at risk. And so now when again he's like, my family needs my full attention, he bails on Cole, or tries to very briefly. I just think it's interesting the way that the character is like showing his motivations and his trauma, etc. But then they get back together, and I don't remember why he comes back. Do you remember why they start at the church, right? He shows up at the church and then is like, let's get the gang back together for our buddy cop mystery movie.
Is it after he says like, I see dead people, and he comes back because he's listening to the tapes of Vincent, like
Yeah,
Vincent's childhood
That's
tape,
what it
and
is.
he turns the volume up and
Yeah.
he hears another
Spanish.
person speaking in Spanish.
Where
And he's like,
yo no quiero morir.
oh shit, he's right. And so he goes back to Cole.
And they
is
are the same, and they both hear ghosts, and that's why they're afraid to be alone, etc., etc. Okay, good memory.
And that's why he's like, I feel like these two kids are so similar.
Mhm.
Like they're
They're, like,
presenting like the
literally similar.
same.
They have the same curse/gift.
Yeah. I mean, but they figure it out when they go to Misha Barton's house, and that they can help
That's where
people.
I really started sobbing. That's where it was just like nonstop waterworks for the entire rest of the film. Like Adam called me and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "I'm almost at the end, and so I need to call you back." But oh my god, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, mates, always gets me, and we see it all the time. But oh my god. And it's just it's so scary too, because like there's so many little bits in this. Like there's the part where you see all the different people at the funeral saying little tidbits about this situation and
their
how
family.
sad it is.
Oh, her little sister's falling ill now too.
Yes, exactly. Like, so it's like she's continuing to do this, like, just
she's wearing
finished off
red.
Mm-hmm. It's not just that she's wearing red for the color scheme of the movie and what it means symbolically to the audience. It's also that she's like setting herself apart, making herself the bright spot center of attention in her daughter's funeral, which, you know, goes along with the pathology of that disorder, which I think these days is called like factitious disorder in another. Yeah, they changed the name. Because like the whole pathology of that disorder is that you're like getting, I mean, it's like a mental health disorder. But you're getting attention for being like the caregiver of somebody who's sick. And so when they die, obviously you're getting the most attention that you have so far, because now you're the grieving mother or whoever you are to this person. But that it started so immediately with the little sister is so fucked up.
Well, she's a smart person who has something deeply wrong with her, because she knows how fast the grief party ends and all the attention ends. So she's setting herself up for more attention.
I need more attention.
Mm-hmm. She knows.
Here's the thing, as somebody who needs a lot of attention, I don't know if this is the kind of attention that I would want.
Seems like that. I'm glad to hear that. Actually, yes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm very glad to hear that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know that much about that disorder, other than obviously it can be super harmful, and not good for anybody involved. But yeah, it's that whole scene is just a mess. And then you see the videotape reveal when little baby Haley Joel Osment brings it to, it's like cleaner, like a cleaning.
Was it like Pine Sol? That's what it looked
basically,
like.
Yeah.
Oh god. And it's just so, she's
and
like,
she's
don't
like,
tell
don't
me
say
it tastes bad again. Oh my god.
So that you know how you get sick in the afternoons, aka after lunch, when I put pine cleaner in your food.
Yeah, and she like won't even let her go outside or do anything. It's just horrifying.
That she clearly is like feeling well, doing her little puppet show, and then has to run and get in bed and pretend that she's not feeling well when her mom or stepmom or whoever comes in.
So messed up. But yeah, it's a jarring way, but a great way that for him to figure out that he can like channel this power to do something good, and it doesn't have to be scary. They're not all trying to hurt him.
And he gives the little clown to Kira's little sister, which is sweet.
Yeah.
But why does she like such scary toys? That's my question for Kira.
Why does she love puppets in general? Seems
puppets are
suspect,
creepy.
but
She would love
Creepy
hanging out in
dolls,
Monica's basement.
puppets, clowns.
she really
Oh
would.
yeah.
She really would. That said, I think I'm about to enter my puppet era because there's a
Oh.
Bob Barker marionettes. There's a Bob Barker marionettes theater exhibit that is going up in, get this, the Forest Lawn Cemetery Museum. We're
Okay,
going.
Oh wow.
Can you believe that exists? I was
I'm
like, puzzles
ready.
at the
To take in.
cemetery. Let's go, baby. Anyway, if anyone wants to go to Glendale with me sometime soon,
Listen, I'm all about headed to the land. I'm there.
Mhm.
love the Dale, the Jewel
Mhm.
City. It's important.
Live and die for the Dale.
But yeah, this movie is so moving and it's so sad and then Toni Collette, she gets
Yeah.
to find out, and it's so great when you see little Cole figuring shit out.
Mhm.
The whole school collectively decides to snub little bitch ass Tommy and make him the town fucking idiot.
I love
and
that.
and very ceremoniously and metaphorically or whatever, making our boy Cole Arthur, King Arthur. He pulls the sword from the stone. How wonderful. He is the king of the world. He falls on everyone. They're like, hee. Cole's popular now because he's learned to channel his ghost powers for good. Who knew
No,
that was
but I
the
loved it.
secret?
I love all of the resolution we see for Cole after the Misha Barton stuff, because like we see him get to play the starring role in the theater, so we know he's made peace with his teacher, Mr. Stanley last name, because I don't want to call him Stuttering Stanley because that's the only name they give him.
Mr.
But
Stanley.
Mr. Stanley. We see him make peace with Mr. Stanley. We see Tommy have to play the village idiot. In that scene, one of the first scenes with Toni Collette, when he comes home from school and she was like, "How was your day?" "I won the lottery and I quit my jobs and then I swam in the fountain." He says, "I got picked first in kickball and everybody cheered and they lifted me up on my shoulders and I did a grand slam." And it's like, it's not that exactly, but he
But
did
it's
get picked
pretty
for the
much.
starring role, and they do cheer and pick him up on their shoulders. It's really sweet.
It's really sweet.
So sweet.
And the scene where he finally like tells his mom about his secret is just so
Oh my
moving
God.
too. She at first is like, "Wow, my kid is more fucked up than I thought." You see it on her face. She's like, "Oh shit." She's like, "I am not equipped to handle this." And then he's like, "Hold up, slow up. Let me prove it to you," with a very moving speech about Granny. He's very smart. He knows how to let him know the truth. You got to reveal the childhood secret. That's how you let people know that you actually can see ghosts. Classic move. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, he sold the reveal. He pulled it off. The part that really absolutely murders me is the part where he's like, you came to the place where they buried her, asked her a question. She said the answer is every day. What did you ask? And the question that she asked was, "Do I make you proud?" to her mom. I sobbed, I wept.
Collette. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god. It was just a nonstop sob fest. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we see the scene where Malcolm goes home. And I loved how this last scene came together, because we've seen her watching her wedding tape throughout the movie at this point, and they kind of play it off. They distinctly give the audience the impression that like after this shooting the year before, or however long time has passed, and in that scene she was like, "I come second to your job." You really get this sense that he's pulled away and is like reinvested in his work, and their marriage is like kind of falling apart. So maybe she's like reliving the glory days by watching their wedding video. But obviously we know it's much sadder than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that scene especially, I think, is kind of what you were talking about earlier, where she is very much like speaking to him almost to the degree that it gives us the impression for a brief moment that they're having a conversation when they're not. But like, it works really well. It works really well.
Listen,
I don't really know.
When he was just like, you were never second, which is a lie.
Yeah.
But that's when I sobbed. Like that is, I was like, I mean,
For
ugly,
what
like,
you were saying earlier. Yeah.
Not like that is my dream of somebody telling me that, like snot coming out of my nose, like ugly crying.
Sure.
Well, backtracking like a tiny bit, like the last interaction between Cole and Malcolm, that was so great because classic Monica, don't remember shit. And so I was like, is there a part in the movie where Cole is like, you're dead? Like, is there a part where he's like, hey, baby, just by the way, you've been dead the whole time? And then the audience is like, what? You know, it's like the second most iconic line, you've been dead the whole time, said by Haley Joel Osment. But that's not the case. And I was just like impressed by like how the reveal was done. I think their last interaction is so sweet, especially watching it with the eyes that we have now that have seen it all.
Yeah.
Where he's like, we're not going to see each other anymore, are we? You know, and we know as the as a knowing audience member, that's because like he's about to like move on. We don't know how. And like let's just let's just pretend that we're gonna see each other tomorrow, and that'll make it easier. It was so sweet, and how like it's so obvious that like Cole knows that he still hasn't figured it out, and that he is dead, but he's like giving him all the tools. He's so smart. He's gonna be great at this. It's gonna be a great career for him as a mediator. I was thinking about the Mediator series like the whole time.
I love the
I was
Mediator series. You know
I was
me.
like, Cole is way better than this than the girl in the Mediator series. She's so mean to
How
all the
dare
ghosts.
you?
She's so mean to all the ghosts. She like
Have you
kicks their ass.
considered-
She kicks
Well,
every single one of their asses.
Maybe they deserve it.
She kicks their asses into the next life. At any given time, she's like, shut the fuck up, and she kicks their ass. If you haven't read the Mediator series, it's great. Okay, but she kicks a lot of ghost ass. All right.
Good for. I'm proud of her. But yeah, I mean, I think it's super interesting because one of the like few sort of hints that is only a hint when you really know what's going on is that the first time that Cole and Bruce Willis talk, Cole says to him like, I'm gonna see you again, aren't I? Which, if you know that he's a ghost, you know it's because like he doesn't realize, and he's gonna keep showing up until it is dealt with, the same way that all of the other ghosts keep showing up until they're dealt with. But so for it to be like, I'm gonna keep seeing you again, aren't I? And then to be like, can we pretend that we're gonna see each other again? It's just really sweet.
That's so sweet. And I don't know, the way that they kind of like we talked about this earlier, but when like the reveal happens and Bruce was like, oh shit. And then like M. Night's kind of like, let me bitch slap you with all the times you didn't fucking notice. I love that. He's like, ha, fooled ya, fa, fooled ya. And it's very effective because you are just like, whoa. Even like I got a taste of it, you know, I got a taste of the flavor of what it must have been like. I'll never recapture that moment in time, or maybe I never experienced it. Probably didn't. But I don't know. It's just so artfully done. And there's like all this stuff about like poking holes in the movie and plot holes and blah, 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 blah. And like they said that like the part where like ghosts see whatever they want to see is like a big band-aid for any plot holes that there are. And I'm just like, but that makes sense for a ghost because you're like a spirit disconnected from your body. You're like bopping around all these different places. You're losing time all the time, which I think like when you watch it knowing that he's a ghost, you get that sense that like obviously he's late to all of these dinners or whatever, but you don't know how much time has passed between any one scene and the next because it doesn't really seem like he's living a linear life at this time. He's not living at all, but you know what I mean. I don't know. I just like, it's a beautiful fucking thing. He did a really great job. M. Night did a great job. And the fact that he writes and directs all these movies, like, even though, like, none of them have, like, really lived up to this movie, like, we cannot say that the man isn't creative as fuck. Like, he's got a brain for twists, and they are always shocking and also corny, but they're shocking as fuck. You seen The Visit? That shit fucked me up.
I haven't yet.
Oh my god. Oh, I would do The Visit. I would do The Visit.
That feels like maybe a Thanksgiving
I would do
movie.
Signs. I would do The Village. Yes. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Thanks.
I don't want to do Lady in the Water because I remember that it wasn't scary. I think Paul Giamatti's in that though.
Good for him.
I would do Devil in a heartbeat. I would do Devil today. I would do right now. We continue on. We do Devil right now. And there's also, this is very timely. Of course, we always think about these things. Knock at the Cabin coming out sometime in the future. The trailer for that just dropped. That's the next M. Night film.
What about Old?
We're never going to do Old. Fuck that shit. It was boring. I got 20 minutes in and no one was old. It was ridiculous. I watched it when I had COVID, and I was like, if listeners, you might remember when I was all up in your fucking grill on our Instagram stories every second of the day because I had COVID. And I was like watching that movie, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, not a damn wrinkle in sight. Anyway, that was a low point. That was a low point.
Sure,
Not
sure.
the happening low, but it's like, close.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, I do think it was interesting that the reveal happened because it was like his wife dropped the wedding ring, and that's what sparked him to look down and be like, why don't I have my wedding ring on? Which is super interesting because Bruce Willis is left-handed, and apparently he learned how to write well enough with his right hand that you would never notice that he's not wearing a wedding ring because the left hand would just like not be prominently featured in those scenes. Would never have occurred to me to look regardless, but I'm no married individual, so I'm not on the hunt for such details. But I just think it's something fun that they did. But yeah, I mean, that's how it like clicked for him is super interesting. And again, I mean,
well,
like
it's a romance. It's all tied to his love for her. So I think it's a very poetic way for him to realize it. Mm-hmm. He looks at his hands and he's like, I would never not be wearing my wedding band because I love this bitch for life. Life's over.
It doesn't really make sense why it's not part of his ghost outfit. But that's fine.
Because she has it. I don't know.
Because she has it.
Can he not be wearing the object if the actual real object in real life is in possession of someone else?
I don't know. Apparently you can see in the dinner scene that he's not wearing his wedding ring when he reaches for the check. I'm not sure. But again, escaped my notice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's time to move on to our segmentos.
Wait, no, I have discussion questions.
Oh gosh.
Okay, they're probably not that long. So in the beginning of the movie, after the opening scene, Bruce Willis is like waiting outside of Haley Joel Osment's house for him. And it says on his notes that Cole was referred in September of 1998. The movie obviously came out in 1999. It came out in August. It doesn't really explicitly say. I looked on like the plaque and stuff to see if there's a date on the plaque, but it doesn't say like the date of the film or anything like that. So I'm wondering, how did he come to be aware of and to know about Haley Joel Osment? Like, is he still going to work and like taking notes from his secretary's desk? Like, was Haley Joel Osment going to be a patient before he died, and that was like a year earlier, September 1998, when he was referred, and this is the following fall? Do we think that part of his losing time is that he's been like trying to go to this appointment for like on and off for like a year, and this is just the first time they've made contact? I'm curious about if we have any thoughts about that.
Well, I think the movie kind of answers that question because there's a moment when they're first introducing themselves to each other, Cole and Malcolm, and Malcolm's like, oh, we had an appointment earlier and I know that I missed it. I'm so sorry. So that leads me to believe that like they had an appointment and he fucking died. And then he's been ghosting around, losing time for however long, and then he finally makes contact at that point. Cuz I feel like he like was like not there for a while. Like we pop back in the fall, and like I think that like he's just like, you know, been in processing from life to afterlife for however
Oh,
long.
you think like he hasn't been a ghost in an active way until then?
I mean, there's no way to know, but I think that like if he had unfinished business, he would start it right away. And
I think he's been a ghost that whole time, but he's just not like forming memories the same way. In the same way he says like he's losing time in the dinner scene, I think he is like kind of, I'm like, I feel like he probably was not at his own funeral per se, but was kind of like, man, somebody died. That's sad. Anyway, back to my work. You know what I mean? He's kind of like going through the motions, I think, that whole time.
Yeah,
know,
I feel
just
like when
think
you're a ghost, time and memory aren't the same as
thing.
they are if you're alive.
I agree.
Totally.
Unless you know that you're a ghost, such as in the Mediator series, but this is not the Mediator series. Yeah, I agree. I think that Cole was going to be a patient that he never saw before his death, and so it's kind of just like on the to-do list of things he would have been doing for work and part of his going through the motions. And if he hasn't like made contact with him before, especially if in Bruce Willis's like going through the motions brain, he's been waiting at his office or whatever, you know what I mean? And then finally, maybe this is the first time he shows up at Haley Joel Osment's house and then like follows him down the street to the church. Haley Joel Osment is kind of seems like he's like running away from him a little bit in that scene, and then he hides in the church. So I think Haley Joel Osment has like clocked him before and been like, this ghost is following me. And finally, he's talking to me, and now he's going to keep showing up now that we've really made contact. I think he's been trying to contact him for a while.
Yes.
That's my thought. Anyway, that's, I guess, my only real discussion question.
It's a good one. Well, I have a discussion question. And mine is, how could this movie be gayer?
Dicks out.
Dicks out. Cole's mom is a lesbian to me. And that's my wife. And I'll help her raise that child. Her freaky little ghost seeing child.
You do a great job. I think
Thank you.
Do great with a ghost seeing child.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think you're prepared for that after doing this podcast. And
I hope
your schooling.
My future children can see ghosts. Because like if my child was like, Mom, I see ghosts, I'd be like, fuck yeah. I love this. I believe
what they
you.
look like.
Tell me everything.
Tell me those ghost secrets.
Yeah.
I think that that's fair. I could see Cole growing up into a wonderful part of the community. A ghost boy in the LGBTQ community.
He puts the G and the B in LGBT for ghost boy.
Yes, boy. So true. That is what those letters stand for. Lesbian ghost boy. Clear. That's it. Yeah, and I mean, who's to say the vibes of Malcolm, even himself? Obviously, he is in love with his wife forever and ever, but that doesn't.
But you can still be bisexual and love your wife. Yeah,
exactly. So let's not rule anything out here. It would have been cool for me if the new person that the wife, I forgot her name, Olivia.
Anna. Olivia's the actress, I think you said earlier.
Olivia's the actress. Anna was like really into a woman who worked at her antique shop.
That could have been gay. That would have been really fun.
I would have really liked that. That would
throw in like a hot
grappling with many
non-binary actor, maybe. Just make it a little more queer in whatever way tickles your
Easy, that's an
fancy.
easy insert right there.
Mhm.
Could have done it, and they didn't.
Oh, Mr.
Neglectful M. Night.
Stanley. He loves theater. He could be gay.
Oh, he's absolutely gay.
Ooh. We love that for Stanley. We love Mr. Stanley. Poor Mr. Stanley being bullied by a child. The
I
child
think
was having
Tommy
a hard
will
time,
eventually
but that
come
was
out as
super
gay.
Tommy also loves the theater.
Oh my god. He's such a dick. I don't want to have to deal with him at parties, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Ugh. But whatever. I guess he might grow out of it, being a pompous asshole. Okay, so next is where would our guy Matthew Lillard fit into this film? And to answer that question, just let me negate what I just said. Let's not make the new lover lesbian, a lesbian lover or something like that. Let's make the new lover Matthew Lillard. Could have very easily been Matthew Lillard, the guy at the antique shop. They look
Sure.
kind of similar. They both
No,
have
no.
buzz cuts.
I know where I want him to be.
Okay.
I want him to be one of the hanging ghosts that gets the close up like face where he's just like looking like at Haley Joel Osment.
Mm-hmm. He could be Kira's dad, Misha Barton's dad. I think that would be a nice little tidbit for him to chew on.
I want him to be
Well-
dead. I'm so sorry. That's so
But-
mean, but I want him to be dead. Okay, he could be the just another ghost that they didn't write into the movie, but it's Matthew Lillard.
He
He
could
could be the ghost of Stu.
Bruce Willis could be gay, and he could be playing Bruce Willis's beautiful young ingenue husband. If we're going with 1999 Matthew Lillard, he is a
I would
beautiful
love
man.
that. I would love that. That would have been beautifully progressive for 1999, and I would have loved to see it. The next M. Night movie, Knock at the Cabin, stars a wonderful gay couple. So why not 1999, The Sixth Sense? Why couldn't we just do that? Come on.
Okay.
I think there's
Dumb
a lot of
bitch.
spaces for him in there. Dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Dumb bitch is Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. I vibe with that. Yeah, I
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
with that.
Fuck that kid. Fuck that kid. He fucking sucks.
Don't
Does
lock anybody in a dumbwaiter. You're
And
not getting a
Darren.
trailer for your cough syrup commercial. I'm glad you had to play the village idiot. That's dumb bitch vibes.
Exactly. Like the jury, they already decided he's the village idiot. He's the dumb bitch. That's just old time talk for dumb bitch.
The movie nominated him directly.
Exactly. So we cannot go against canon, as you know.
We would never go against
We
canon.
would never go against canon. We don't have a whole segment where we go against canon. Okay, that brings us to our Knives Out of Fives. Chelsea, I heard
Yes.
this movie was critically acclaimed. Is that true?
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, someone told me that.
Fascinating. Yeah, I mean, this movie has 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 86% fresh from critics, which honestly is lower than I was expecting. But it has 90% fresh from audiences, and it was nominated for 6 actors. It was nominated for 6 Oscars, and some of those went to actors. But it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Haley Joel Osment, Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Toni Collette, Best Director for Mr. M. Night Shyamalan himself, and Best Writing Screenplay for the Screen and Best Film Editing. And I think the editing choice and the directing choice are one alone on the strength of them ending on the shot of the kiss in the wedding video. I just thought that was beautiful to really drive the romance point home. So, but they didn't win any of those. They just got nominated.
Too bad. So it just
It
says
is too bad.
Oscar nominated director M. Night Shyamalan every time. So sad.
Tragic.
One day he'll get his out. If he gets an Oscar, I will be very excited for him. But then we'll have to see where his career goes. Okay, who wants to go first?
Go.
Okay, go.
This movie is so good, and I did not expect to sob uncontrollably at the end of this movie. And also, I think it holds up really well. Like watching it, it doesn't feel like this movie was made in 1999. Like the clothes still feel very relevant. There's not any real CGI to date it, so it still feels like it's a really current movie. The writing is good. The way that it's shot is so good. Like truly, I think this is an incredible movie. So I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5.
I agree. I think it's really wonderful. I think it's really well done. Like you said, I think it like stands up well to the test of time, both story wise and in terms of like how the movie was made and constructed. I think it hits all of its emotional beats really, really strongly. I think Toni Collette fucking knocked it out of the park.
Donnie Wahlberg, are you kidding?
Donnie Wahlberg.
Where's the nom for Johnny?
Johnny,
No,
best supporting
Johnny
actor.
Where's
Stop
the
it.
nom?
Whatever. I don't care about that part. It set up the movie. I was not blown away by that acting in that scene. I was like, okay. But overall, I just think it was really well done. I didn't think it was like missing anything. You know what I mean? There wasn't anything that I was like, I think it would have been a little bit better if they had done XYZ. I think it's just like a 5 knives out of 5's movie.
I'm right there with you. This is 5 knives out of 5's. Like, no notes. I sobbed hysterically. It was cathartic. Perfect cast. Spooky scares. Haley Joel Osment. We love him. He's a beautiful little boy. It's great. It's great. And I love M. Night so much. I love him. I love him. I love him. And I'm happy for him. Too bad he got so far, so high, so fast in his career. But he's gonna get back up there.
He flew too close to the sun, you know?
He girl boss way too close to the sun, too early in his career. But he did have to work it to get there, okay? He didn't just fly out the gate. He had 2 flops, and then he had this. And then he had a series of 5 really, really good movies, and then he had The Village. I love The Village, though. I liked the twist in The Village, and we'll talk about it when we do The Village, but just saying.
A movie I have also never seen.
I've never seen, but I know the twist.
Joaquin Phoenix is hot. There you go. That's all you need to know, so you should watch it.
Anyway. That is all I need to know.
That's The Village, baby. I mean, that's The Village, baby. That's the 6th.
That is The Village.
I deleted it. I deleted my entire memory. That's The Sixth Sense, baby. It's still so hard to say. God, dear God. And we're moving on to a new movie that none of us has seen. Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, I know nothing about it other than Monica has been suggesting it as a Halloween movie. I think every single year so far. Yeah, we're on year 3. This is our
I
third
haven't
year.
seen it.
Has made
I
the
don't
docket
know anything
finally,
about it either.
So we'll see. Next up, we are doing the 2007 film Trick or Treat. Trick apostrophe R treat. How would you
treat? Trick or treat. You have to say like trick or treat.
Like a little pirate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is it an anthology movie? Maybe did you say one time?
I think. Like
I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
I'll remember now.
I think I remember somebody explaining it to me, and I think this person was a friend of the pod, Rebecca.
Google also says like, 5 interwoven stories.
Yeah, like it happens on like Halloween, and it's like 5 different people's stories.
VHS adjacent.
It's like all in the same night, and they're all in the same universe, but we see like 5 different people's like stories. So it's not an anthology per se. Like it is, but it's
just
not.
Like 5 perspectives.
Can't wait to find out more.
I'm excited.
All I know is it got that cute little kid with the sack on his head, or I don't know if he's a kid or if he's a monster. I don't know, but he's
we
cute.
don't know. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, they're doing a sequel soon. I think you said as well. So
and they're re-releasing it in theaters this month. So if you're into that shit, go get it, babe. Go.
Will we be able to see it on the big screen before we do that episode? Do you think?
I think so. I think it's
we
out now.
We should do that. We should
I
do
saw
that.
I saw somebody say on the internet, I went to the theater and saw Trick or Treat. We follow all these horror people, on the
It's
on
showing.
the Spooky
Oh,
account.
it's at the ArcLight in Sherman Oaks. We'll go.
We'll go. We'll have a full experience. Wow, that'll be amazing. We'll do that on Monday instead of what we were gonna do.
Yeah, because
Which
it
is
comes
Sorry,
out
smile.
October it comes out October 7th. So Friday.
Perfect.
Oh, God, don't you love how things work out? That was part of the
We
reason
are
we
so
made this decision,
smart.
though.
We always have a good
We
plan.
We did
are.
decide based on that a little bit, though. So,
Yeah, but we didn't.
because we're fingers on
whatever.
the pulse of horror. So
Yeah, because we're smart and we work hard.
So y'all do know that this is our 3rd season, and our anniversary is also coming up on the 13th of this month. And my birthday is this month.
Cinepalooza.
And it is spooky season. And so we here at Spooky Tuesday are doing a giveaway. But you know what we are
First
giving away?
giveaway.
Our first giveaway? What do I love more than anything? What do I love more than anything?
fake blood.
Movies.
What kind of movies, guys?
This is a hard
Scary
test.
ones.
Wow.
Ones that are
Scary.
digital.
Wow, y'all hate me. And the answer is
I don't know.
movies. Are you
Oh. Well,
80s
I know what you
movies.
were trying to get at. She loves 80s movies. That's my first guess for Sydney's favorite thing. If you had asked me one of your favorite movies, I think I maybe would have guessed it. But I was thinking about the other one because it's on our schedule.
Well, we are doing. Oh no, I don't want to say this. How do I want to say this?
I feel like, do we have to say like we're teaming up with boop, 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 boop,
Nope.
whatever media partner? No? Okay.
No. This is the copy, but I don't really want to. It's like does not need word except for the bold line, which is own Poltergeist and the Lost Boys now on 4K Ultra HD. 80s classics, The Lost Boys and Poltergeist revolutionized the horror movie genre with original storytelling and unmatched cinematic direction. This October, relive the fascination and fear of both. On Poltergeist and The Lost Boys now on 4K Ultra HD.
4K Ultra HD.
4K Ultra HD. I bet that hey,
I bet that's wonderful.
my new Amazon
would
Fire
wanna own
Stick is
that.
4K, so I'm ready.
But is it Ultra HD?
We'll find
Okay.
out.
How do I want to do this? Okay.
You can just be like, and now I'll read the copy for the content.
Hold on. I'm gonna start over.
Okay.
So October is a big month for us. We are season 3. Our anniversary is coming up. It is my birthday. It is Halloween, the piece de resistance of this podcast. And what better way to celebrate all of these things than to do our first giveaway?
Giveaway.
Almost like trick or treating.
Ooh.
You come, you knock on our Instagram, and maybe you get a little treat. Or you get a trick, which is that you don't get
You
the
don't
treat.
win. Ooh.
Tricked ya. So unfortunately, probably going to be a trick heavy because there's only so many treats that we have to give out. But
Do you want to know what that little treat is?
Tell us the treat,
Tell us.
baby.
It is Poltergeist and the Lost Boys on 4K Ultra HD digital.
Wow.
And here's the thing. You know how much I love 80s movies, The Lost Boys.
That's her
So-
favorite thing.
It's my favorite thing. And it's
heard
so
that it's her favorite
sexy.
thing.
Sydney's favorite thing is, first thing I'd say, 80s movies.
It's going great. That or fake blood. I really think those are two of her favorite things. But yes, I mean, you heard our Lost Boys episode. We fucking went that shit. Oh, that was a vampire joke. Oh God, yes.
Oh, good one. Yay, Monica.
Planned that, didn't. And can we reveal early or no?
I think we should.
Oh.
And we're going to close out this month with the other movie, which is Poltergeist, baby. That shit slaps. If you haven't seen it, where have you been? It's been 40 years or something.
I haven't seen it.
What?
Oh.
It's so good.
I've been hibernating.
Wow. So we are giving away The Lost Boys and Poltergeist. And you can find more rules about our giveaway on our social media.
Yay!
Yes. You will need to follow us on Instagram in order to enter this contest, and we'll be making a post with all the rules and regulations. So why not go over to Instagram right now and follow us at spooky_Tuesday. That's also our handle on TikTok and Twitter. So wow, why not follow us on all three right now? We're also at Spooky Tuesday Pod on Tumblr and Facebook, and at Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. And don't forget, we still only have one video on YouTube, but it's a new season. Anything could happen. So don't miss it. Like and subscribe. It's spooky season, baby. Thank you for listening.
Bye, spooky.
That isn't magic.
What are you talking about? Of course it's magic.
You just kept the penny in that hand the whole time.
You think so?
I didn't know you were funny.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamara, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_OMG.